Terron Armstead was on Pro Football Talk Live. And apparently Furones didn't pick up on it. And I don't know who has yet. I haven't read some of the articles locally on it or anything like that, so I'm not exactly sure if anybody picked up on it. But I thought he said some damning stuff when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. And again, I'm going to turn it on Furones on this, how he phrased the entire interview, because I listened to it, I watched it. At no point did he say he was coming back. But the we stuff and being a part of the Dolphins, remember, he's still under contract. Remember, he still wants to be a professional. And so he doesn't want to, right from the get-go, he understands who he is and his stature. And if he goes out there on PFT and says, yeah, no, I think that team needs to improve and, I've moved on or whatever, then you're going to write about how he has distanced himself from it. He didn't want to do that. Okay? Because he knows there are good people in the building and they gave him a contract and he carried himself like a professional, unlike Jimmy Butler, those kind of things. There's a right way to handle things, and then there's a wrong way to handle things. Terron Armstead always handles everything way better than I ever would. That's how good he is. Not that I'm very good anyways, but he's exceptional. Jimmy Butler will mishandle every situation, okay? So let's end that stuff. At no point did he really express that he's going to continue to play or wants to play or anything like that. It was just a professional way to end your career since you're still legally under contract with the Miami Dolphins. All right, so here's Terron Armstead. And I want you to listen to his answer. And I don't know if you pick up anything on it, but I'm going to tell you what you should pick up on it. Here's Terron Armstead on PFT Live.
I think we need more of an edge, more of an attention to detail and the small things. The word soft really it makes me cringe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been associated with the word. So it's hard to even talk about. But for the direction of the Dolphins, I think we just need to. The frustration is we have enough. Like, we feel like we have the talent to go win. So when you don't, it's hard to deal with. It's hard to cope with, especially when you're somebody that's used to winning. So I think us locking in on the details and the small things that make Kansas City, that separated themselves from the league. Their situational football is incredible. 4th and 1, they know what to do, and late game situations, they know 2-minute drill. They just, it's like clockwork. I think those are things that we need to lock in and focus on more. Like, down to down, we can play with anybody. We can be as physical as we want to with anybody. Down to down, it's just the situational game has not been our friend, and we have to make that something that's a huge emphasis moving forward in order to win big games.
And specifically, what do you do? How do you get from here to there?
Yeah, I mean, it takes total buy-in. All from everyone, not even just the players, coaches, staff, training staff, equipment. It takes total buy-in, and it's only 3 or 4 teams that have that every year, and usually those are the Final Four. That every team is after one common goal. There's no individual success that's driving anyone. You know what I mean? Those are the teams that are consistently successful, and it has to start early when it's a 90-man roster. Mm-hmm. Even the guys that's only there for a couple months. You know what I mean? Just having that buy-in and that culture. It's hard to do, but it's necessary in order to win.
So let's break down some of those comments. So they need more of an edge. Well, where does that come from? Comes from your head coach. Shula has an edge. Pat Riley starts with his edge right from the damn top. Paul Maurice has an edge. Well, what is McDaniel's edge? So there's one. Attention to detail. How the fuck are you into your tenure 3 years in and you're not into detail? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't get plays in on right? You can't win a challenge? Your players are are having pre-snap penalties. They don't know how to run the right routes. They're constantly dropping footballs. They're constantly committing penalties. Oh, so hasn't that been going on for 3 years? So that's all of a sudden going to magically stop in 2025. So if you have the talent, like he says, and it's frustrating that you don't get the results, he's telling you he doesn't want to be a part of this. He's telling you that he has a team that doesn't pay attention to detail because the coach doesn't coach detail. When you play for the Miami Heat, they will coach you all the way down to the detail. Okay? You're going to watch the Heat. They're going to make a bunch of mistakes because they're young. As the season goes on, as next year goes on, and you watch all those young players mature, less and less mistakes because he'll coach the shit out of them. So if your team can't pay attention to detail, it's because you got a scatterbrain coach. If your team doesn't have an edge, it's because you have a scatterbrain coach. If you're not good in situational football, that's your coach's fault. That was an interview that was an indictment completely on Mike McDaniel. And if you need your players to buy in, like he said right from the get-go, well, guess what? That's up to your coach. Because if you don't win, and if you don't consistently come out on top in situational football, there is no way they buy in because they don't have the confidence. If anything, Armstead just pointed to you all the deficiencies of Mike McDaniel. You have no edge. You have no attention to detail. You fail in situational football, and everybody doesn't buy in. If that's not a recipe for disaster, I have no fucking idea what is. There you go. That's your classy Hall of Fame caliber type player telling you exactly what's going on in the most professional manner that he can give it to you. And here I am dissecting, defining, and telling you exactly what he just said. All roads lead to Mike McDaniel. It's not about the personnel. We could get into a pissing contest and go back and forth on that. No matter what you give that guy, he ain't getting it done. And they're not going to be all of a sudden perfect on detail in year 4 when you haven't shown any kind of consistency in any of the 3 years prior. You suck at situational football because you don't know how to coach it. And you've sucked for 3 years. And these players, whether it's Armstead in New Orleans or whether it's Tua in Alabama, it's give me another player, Tyreek in Kansas City. Trying to find another player that came from somewhere else and had success somewhere else and is here now. Oh, well, Jordan Poyer is old and done, really, but shit, he's a better situation over there, better coach, a better atmosphere. You get my drift now? The problem is that guy. We've been talking about it for a while on the show, and that's what that interview told me right there. Not the silliness of, oh, is he going to play or not? No, he's doing all the PR shit. Why, if he's going to play, why the fuck would he come back here? Well, because they're all of a sudden going to pay attention to detail. They're all of a sudden going to win situational football. They're all of a sudden going to have an edge. He just told you they have the talent. So the frustrating part is that they don't succeed with the talent, that they can play with anybody. They can be physical. He just tells you that. ...2025 season is done before it started because Mike McDaniel's your head coach.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.